Okay, let's do this.
Serious face.
Welcome to Dead. Oh, come on, Yandre. Welcome everyone to Dad It Yourself ZA. This is our second episode. Yay, we are pregnant. Now what? I'm Sean Erasmus, and this is Yandre Swart.
Hello. Thank
And,
you. Thank you for
tonight
doing the honors of welcoming us in.
Sure. So tonight we're going to talk about basically that phase between you and your partner found out that you're pregnant, and basically that whole nervous, private, almost period up until when you are finally able to tell people. And I think, I think it's an interesting time because everyone gets stuck in it, and you kind of have this really exciting news, and it's this back and forth between you and your partner of who do you tell and who do you not tell.
Yeah, no, definitely. I remember it's like super. The first thing is like you want to make sure that it wasn't a false positive, essentially.
Yeah.
And then it's like, should I tell the parents? Should I not tell the parents? Yeah, it's crazy. But before we jump into that, how's it going on your side since episode 1? How's the fame treating you with all the viewers and stuff?
I'm trying to write back to all the letters.
Yeah,
I'm not keeping up at the moment, so but they'll come.
The pigeons are crazy. They're dropping off a letter like every day.
So I think by tomorrow I would have caught up. That means I would have written 2 letters back. So
yeah, so episode 1 dropped Monday. I think our upload schedule will forever now be Monday, although I did upload it Sunday. I must say we haven't done too much marketing with it, so I'm very surprised at the results that we did get. Also looking at the feedback and the general analytics from YouTube, it's crazy how many people actually found us by chance. And thanks to all 10 of you. It is greatly appreciated. But
let's hope that we keep that up.
Yeah, but we will definitely be more active on socials. Sean will handle that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just
podcast.
Yes, podcast.
No, I was going to say podcast aside. We were just chatting before this, and Yandre was telling me that he's had a bit of a hectic week, so he's a bit more tired than normal. I had a sick daughter on Monday, which is never fun, and it's quite stressful and tiring too. So I suppose I'm also a bit more tired than normal, but we're gonna do our best, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Also partially why it's been a bit difficult this week is, yes, number one, work has been probably as busy as it could have been. Especially taking into consideration we are still in a pandemic. My company's in a very fortunate position when it comes to the workload, so we can absolutely not complain. Well, we are, but it's a fortunate complaint. But the other reason is that no, man, wrong hand. If you look below, you will now see that we are on Radio Public. We are on Google Podcast. We are on Anchor, on Spotify. And I freaking apologize for forgetting the other 2. But the one is Pocket Cast. Pocket Cast is a little red one. And the logo that nobody knows. Yeah, I'm going to actually go and I'm going to go and find it quickly.
Great advertising. Find us here at this podcast source that we don't know what it is.
Well, I must say the Anchor platform has been brilliant. Anchor is owned by Spotify, and what they basically do is they distribute it to everybody. The only one that would. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the list on their site as I read it. We are on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Spotify. We are then also due for Apple Podcasts, Castbox, and Overcast within the next 2 weeks.
That's exciting.
I think I made up for my horrible advertising.
Yes,
This
in
is
a bright white light from your screen.
I'm sorry.
You looked fantastic.
That's great. So this is after Sean said to me yesterday, we should make notes when we do podcasts. It's like, nah, we wing it.
We'll wing it.
We will wing it. But
Okay.
anyway, I think let's jump into it.
Yeah, we're a good few minutes in. So I think we're going to start with your.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries. I was going to say, I think we should start with your side. I started last week, and I think I took up the majority of the podcast last week.
So let's pick up on the story where my wife almost broke her ankle and had to CPR her leg. CPR? No. What is CPR? Is the breathing thing? What's the thing when you have to? Whatever. I carried her and she was hopping around on one leg. And then still walked around the block and finished the lap with the dogs. Okay, but anyway, yeah, we got home, did the initial test. We thought it was negative. Fast forward a bit, she looked again. She was like, only the second line is a bit darker. It's like, there's the second line. And we drove to Clicks, bought a couple of R100 worth of pregnancy test, little LCD ones.
You said you bought the clear blue. And
clear blue.
That's the
clear blue.
That's the accurate one.
Yeah, the best one you can get. We're not sponsored. Imagine that. Who's your sponsor? No, this pregnancy test, you know.
Yeah, us dads.
Us dads. Anyway, so obviously then we confirmed that it was indeed so we were like, okay, we're gonna keep it quiet for at least like till after the blood test and till maybe after the first scan. It didn't work out that way. So her dad is a doctor. So we were like, I think on a video call or something. It was still like in like a nice hard lockdown period. And like the call just ended. And I was like, do you think we should maybe tell them? And we phoned them back and we're like, yeah, if they can keep a secret, we've got something to tell them. And then we told them, super ecstatic. I think my father-in-law was a bit more shocked. He's not ready to be a grandfather. He's a very young spirit. But yeah, nonetheless, he's going to become a granddad now. And Nadine's mom was back in the day a nurse. So it's like two good contacts to have, like if something had to go wrong. The next day, well, no, that was the Saturday. So the Monday, she went for the blood test. Blood test confirmed 4 weeks. I was like, cool. Then obviously you have to now start making like appointments for the first scan and all that type of stuff. And that's only in 4 weeks' time. At which I was not allowed to go to the 8-week one. So we pretty much decided that we were gonna tell everybody on 12 weeks that we are pregnant. Yeah. And then after a long discussion with one of our friend or ex-colleagues, and shout out to Martin Badenhorst.
We need to get him on here.
Yeah, we need to get him. We really need to get him on here. So he's either stepdad or mom's fiance is like a very well-renowned or renowned gynecologist.
Good save.
Yeah, gynecologist, and he told him that if something's going to go wrong, it can go wrong from week 1 till week 40. I also just want to make a correction. After listening back on our podcast last week, I stated that a woman is only pregnant for 30 weeks. I was wrong. It's 40.
I don't even remember you saying that. I assumed you said 40.
Yeah, no.
Whoops.
Apologies to all women.
Except in our defense, though, it does go by real quickly. Heads up to any dads to be out there.
Yeah.
You think 9 months is a long time. It really isn't.
So essentially, after we had that whole conversation, I remember that I'll never forget that day. So the weekend before the scan. So 2 weeks before the scan. So
1 + 1 is 2.
so 2 weeks before the scan, we went to, just car shop. Not really car shop. It was more a case of like, let's go have a look at what cars there could possibly be.
Sure.
We don't really have like a big family car. I had like my little turbo EcoSport Fiesta that was made for racing with a bit of salt. And Nadine's got a little Honda Jazz. So we're like, okay, we're going to maybe look into a bigger car. So we went to Ford, had a look at like some second-hand.
When you say bigger car, do you mean like to have storage space in the boot, or do you mean like a higher car? Because I know that's also something if you like for putting babies in and out of the car.
Yeah,
to be higher obviously is better.
So in essence, we were looking for like a mini SUV. So not like your SUV, smaller. So essentially, what I had, higher with a bit more boot space.
Okay. So both.
Yeah. And what better than the Ford EcoSport or EcoSport, depending on which region you are in. Because
depending on your accent.
Depending on your accent. Because if you know like car builds and stuff, you would know that the EcoSport's got basically the same engine than the Fiesta. It's got the same chassis as the Fiesta. It's just basically the body and the wheels and the axles. It's a bit different. So we had a look. This is going to be such a ramble, but this is stuff that happened in this period.
It's a crazy period.
Tell people. But anyway, we went there to the second-hand side first, and I had a look at one like a year-old model with about 25,000 Ks on the clock for, I can't remember how much, like I think 240 or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. If I trade my car in, I'm going to get a really good deal on this. Then I said to the guy at the dealership, like, okay, cool. I just want to go and have a look at the new ones as well. And I don't think he meant it this way because he's Afrikaans and sometimes we just get like irritated or we completely misinterpret what he said. But in direct translation to English, he said, no, you can't afford it. And I was like, sir, gat, I will afford what I can afford. So I was like immediately like, motivated to buy a new one. So
I'll show you.
No, I'll show you. I don't care if I pay an extra 100K. So essentially went in and we found this guy, the sales guy, and we were chatting and he's like, yeah, look, I've got a VLP model. And I was like, what's a VLP model? It's like, no, it's the models that they send to us for display purpose in malls. So immediately I was like, I don't think that's what I want to do. How many kids were sitting in it? How many like times has it been opened and all that stuff? And he said, yeah, but here's the kicker. The car arrived 2 days before hard lockdown hit. It never made it to the mall. It's 3 months later and they need to sell it now. They can't have it in the showroom.
Yes.
So we got it as a demo for I think 10,000 Rand more than a second hand one.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
And guess
At a
how?
demo that hadn't been used as a demo.
Yeah, when we went to pick out the one we wanted, which we only had option of one, so I don't know what the reason was for going there to pick it out. Um, it still had the plastic on the seats and all the
Oh wow.
plastics on the seat, like the on the radio and stuff.
Okay.
And guess how many kilos it had on the clock?
I'm gonna say 1,000.
1,000. We drove
Yeah.
it. We drove it out of the showroom with 28 kilometers on the clock.
No way.
When we went to look at it, it had 18 on it, and obviously they had to like ride it to like some place or whatnot. Anyway,
Yeah.
this is such a
Nice.
detour of the actual story I'm trying to tell.
Okay, so now you got your family car.
No, not yet.
Then what?
Not 100%. So that happened around about 6 weeks ish. Okay.
Mm.
So okay, just reverse a bit. The reason that happened was one month. I think it was a Monday morning. So we were thinking about it like on week 5, about the family car thing, which is sort of risky, because it's so soon in, and there's like a lot of things that can go wrong. Thanks, Martin, for the motivation. And the Monday. So we went on the weekend of the 5th week. Okay. Then on the Monday, that weekend, Nadine had some spotting. And we're like, oh, okay. And I Googled, and, if you type in symptoms into Google, it's anything from nothing to cancer.
Yeah, worst case scenario.
Yeah. So it's, we pretty much thought, okay, we're going to call the gynecologist and just like find out what to do. So on the Monday, that was the start of week 6, basically. So we were in week 6. And we drove, and I still remember I was at work, and I went to my boss's office, and I was like, look, I can't tell you what I need to do, but I kind of need to leave work for the rest of the day. and he looked at me, he's
Not
like,
dodgy at all.
no, and he looked at me, he's like, cool, cheers. It's like, okay. And look, I've got like the coolest bosses, not brown-nosing at all, but I'm pretty sure if I had to walk in there tomorrow, I'm like, look, I need to like disappear for a week. They'll was like, cool, we'll figure it out. No, probably not with all the workloads going on.
No.
But anyway, so we went to the hospital. I wasn't allowed in.
Because of COVID, right?
Because of COVID. So I'm sitting in the car, waiting, expecting the worst. I remember I was like watching those Panda Craft videos on YouTube or on Facebook in the car, like waiting what's going on. And obviously she's not messaging me. And she walked back and with like a little picture. And at that stage, we were calling the baby Psyche because it was a seed. And she just like walked back and said, "Ek het Psyche se hartklop gehoor."
That's so cool.
And that was on 6 weeks. So that was on our emergency 6-week scan.
Yes. Okay.
So and not a lot of people are fortunate enough to hear a heartbeat by 6 weeks. I mean, if it's not if the thingamajiggy can't reach the thingamabob, then it's completely done for it.
Any doctor listening to this right now is cringing beyond belief.
Sorry, Bob.
But yeah, it's I mean, how big is a baby at 6 weeks? It's like the size of a blueberry, right?
I think it's smaller, but yeah, roughly something like that. Anyway, so then I was like, okay, well, I'm not going back to work. And it was like 3:00 the afternoon or something like that. And I remember that's when we went to Ford. So
nice. I mean, what else do you do?
Yeah, so like celebration, let's go buy a car. Then the 2 weeks went past, and it was like day for the 8 week scan, and I decided I'm gonna take the day off completely,
Mm.
and that's the day I then told my bosses the news.
Mm.
And we got a new car on that same day. We literally drove from the um, the dealership to St George's, did the scan, um, and from there we went and had like a celebration breakfast and whatnot. And we came home and we took the photo, and um, we announced to the world. Well, not really to the world. On 8 weeks, we announced to like all the friends and family and all that type of
Mm.
things. Yeah,
Yeah, like a
people.
close
Yeah.
circle.
So yeah, that was up until week 8, and then obviously, you don't really want to. You kind of want to wait for like week 12,
Mm.
because that's like more solid. But then you kind of want to wait for week 16 before you do the gender reveal. And our flippin' gynae. So on, I'm speaking under correction, but I think it was the 12-week scan.
Mm.
I managed to get into the hospital. Uh,
Okay.
I think PE or Nelson Mandela Bay was like on 100 cases, and they completely like just lowered their shields, if we can call it that.
Yeah, it was between wave 1 and 2 then.
Yeah, pretty much. And I managed to get in. And while we were sitting there, like,
Nice.
yeah, well, and the woman's like, yeah, look, I can tell you, I'm about 80% sure it's a boy. Like, 80% sure it's a boy.
Ah, yeah, that's not solid enough.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to really announce it yet.
Mm.
Um, and then there was another, I think, like the 4D or three, no, not the 4D scan, the 3D scan thingamajiggy, which
Mm.
was like a few weeks after that. Um, they said, yeah, they like almost 100% convinced it's a boy. We're like, okay, cool, it's a boy.
Mm.
Done and
Oh, well,
dusted.
that's better than better than 80%.
Yeah. So yeah, that's cool, and it's every single time is that little milestone. But then once you get to like 12, 16 weeks, it's like, okay, cool. What am I doing till week 40 now?
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, once you get 16, 20,
yeah.
then you're cruising.
So while we're talking, I'm not looking down for a reason. I'm actually looking on my phone because I don't want to white blow myself again with the screen. It's like, oh, I just want to quickly go to our to the email I sent you, because I just want to
Yeah.
see at which episode we're going to discuss. Nah, screw it. We will discuss it anyway. But
Yeah, it's coming.
at which week did you guys decide now you want to do baby shopping?
Oof. You mean we're going to discuss that, or you're asking me now?
No, I'm asking you now. I mean,
So like,
so we are gonna. I know this whole episode that dedicated on what's the first things you buy for your baby.
mm, mm. Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, we started probably early on as soon as we knew, but then what we did was we just shopped sort
Yeah,
of gender neutral stuff, like stuff that wouldn't change
yeah,
regardless of whether it's a boy or a girl.
yeah, like sheep and animals and
Yeah, yeah.
mafia.
Even shoes, like you can buy shoes
You didn't get the
if you're buying
mafia
clothes
joke.
shoes. No, I missed that. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
And yeah, I mean that was before we even knew the
Mm,
gender, and then obviously you do hold off a little bit until you know
mm,
the gender, and then you once you know, or you are pretty certain, at least I don't think anybody ever really knows.
yeah,
Then you go for it. Then you go, go all out.
yeah. I
I
think
think that
yeah,
I think also that's when at least for us, that's when Andrea's nesting really kicked in. Was when she got her head around, okay, we're having a girl. Um, yeah, and then the purchases really ramped up. I remember that.
yeah. I think like the biggest purchases was like the cot and the compactum, and I think we like very early on got the pram. Like this stuff's not going to
Mm.
change, and we got good deals from from Baby City in Port Elizabeth, Moffat on Main.
So that's the one piece of advice, I guess,
Yeah.
and we'll save that for later. But there's certain things like you say that won't change: prams, car seats, cots, and those are all expensive things. So start early and kind of spread your purchases out.
Yes. But yeah, that's for episode 4, and episode
Yeah, that'll
4
come.
is entitled First Baby Shopping, Clothes, Toys, and Other Essentials. Okay, so Sean, so that's pretty much our now what that we had. And then just to finish off my story, we obviously then, after our, let's call it, scare, we told the rest of the moms and dads. And yeah, I think like a week later than that, we told the brothers. We told everybody except for some reason my sister. Sorry.
Your sister has children.
My sister's,
a child.
Yeah, 2.
2.
3rd on the way.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, sis.
So
when did you tell me? I remember it was quite early.
It was on the day of the scare.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah. It was quite early. I was like, still, should I tell anyone? Should I not tell anyone? So yeah. But it was like the week before the week of the scare. I can't remember, but it was quite early.
I feel like it was before, because I remember you telling me about the scare, and I'm sure I knew about it before the scare.
Yes.
But anyway,
Could
neither
have
here
been.
nor there.
Yeah. I remember like yeah, you were the only one from like my friends group that knew, other than one guy that worked in America, that we had like a catch up chat on WhatsApp, and I was like, hey, by the way, I'm becoming a dad. I was like, there's no way he's gonna tell anyone.
Also, you don't know when you're going to talk to him again.
Yeah.
Have a nice catch up chat, so might as well throw it in there.
He made it back to SA at least now during all this COVID.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Shout out to Jared Brown. Okay, Sean, but anyway, so
this episode's loaded with shout outs.
Yeah, no, you need to do at least like 2.
I like it.
Okay, so over to you. Because I rambled for like more than half of this episode now.
That's okay. That's fine. I did the same thing last time, so it's a good balance.
Okay, so you guys.
We didn't have any drama in between or anything, so my story is really not that long. So our one, we also found out quite early, because we did the manual testing, we did the blood tests and stuff, because we had gone through that whole process of the AI. We were really desperate to find out whether it had worked or not. So I think we also found out just before 6 weeks, but ours was like a 2-stage test. So Andrea had gone for the blood test, and they called us 2 hours later, and they said HCG levels are pretty much there, but we can't guarantee that you're actually pregnant. What we need to do is in 24 hours we'll test you again, and if the HCG count has more than doubled, then you are pregnant. I think that was like a Friday morning. So the Saturday morning we went in, had the blood test done, and then we were together and like just trying to kill 2 or 3 hours waiting for this phone call. And we eventually got the phone call, and I think the count had like quadrupled. So we're like, yeah, we're pregnant. And they were like, whoa, does that mean that there's more than one? And we're like, okay, well, whatever we get, we get. Because we've gone through the fertility clinic, our first scan was there, and it is also, I think, at 6 weeks. It's very early. Also because of all of the risk factors involved in the build-up. So we got to see a heartbeat very early on. That tiny little baby, and it's the weirdest like feeling ever.
Squishy.
Yeah, it's the weirdest feeling to see that, and then to see this tiny little heartbeat. So that was, I mean, so in building up to that, obviously the year and a half, 2 years up to that, of us going through the natural route and the delays and the treatment and everything, we had told a very select few people about what we were going through because of this whole thing that we didn't want to build up this anxiety by letting too many people know we were trying to fall pregnant. So there were very few people knew that we were going through this. So when we were pregnant, obviously we were stoked. Like, the feeling. You want to just want to tell everybody, but you have to kind of restrain yourself. So I think we told Edgar's mom and we told my dad, like pretty much that week. And like if anyone who knows my dad knows that he can't keep a secret to save his life. Like he just knows too many people and he just loves to talk.
Yeah.
And anyway, so we were quite nervous to tell him because we were worried that he would let it slip. And yeah, for all the same reasons as you had mentioned, you're nervous about what's going to happen in between. The pregnancy doesn't feel like it's concrete enough. So you just have this thing. You're like, okay, no, we're going to wait until 12 weeks before we tell anybody. And then, so they knew. And then I think Andrea told her sisters. And we kept it very quiet, and we were very strict about it leading up to it because of the build-up that got us to that point. And I think it gets trickier, like the longer you try to hold it off, because obviously the woman starts to show a little bit.
Yeah.
You kind of just downplay it, like, just too much gluten, just some bloating. Yeah, McDonald's. I can't say Burger King. I don't think our Burger King was even open then. Anyway,
Uber Eats special.
Uber Eats. No, there wasn't Uber Eats then. Uber Eats came after that.
Really?
I'm sure. I don't recall.
So you telling me that I've done 142 Uber Eat orders in the last?
Wow.
No, I'm just joking.
I can believe it.
No. What are you trying to say?
Side note. I'm not even going to go into that. Side note, did you know that Burger King on the app, you can do a curbside order now? So you don't order through Burger King, you order and then just park outside and they bring it to your car.
Sean's going to do an entire series on app hacks for fast food. He is the king of app hacks.
Yeah. I do my part. But I don't know if I want the people or the app owners to know about these hacks.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see.
It's not as bad as my Uber Eats free food hack that I had for
I would say that one we maybe post that as under an alias, not this account.
No.
I don't want this one to get shut down before we even begin.
FBI, Homeland Security.
The Uber FBI.
Yeah. Although they are taking like 20 years to prosecute Zuma, so I think I'm safe.
Yeah. Well, it's American run, right? So.
Oh yeah.
Uber will come for you. Uber, and what's his name? Who's that actor that's so invested in Uber?
Joe Biden.
Actor.
Oh, sorry. I thought he was an actor.
What's his name? Oh man, the guy from
Nicolas Cage.
From that 70s show and from what's the name?
Ashton
Dude with my
Kutcher.
car. What?
Yes. Ashton Kutcher.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, as far as I know, he is.
Steering off. So you told your dad and he told everyone.
No, he didn't. Luckily, my dad was amazing. For like the one time he managed to keep a secret was the most important time. So that was fantastic. And we went to not the gynae, but we went to basically the guy who was going to do our fetal assessment for I think our 12-week scan.
The whole neck thingy for Down syndrome.
Yeah. Checking all the ratios and the blood flow and everything. All the checks that he does. That I need you to jog my memory here. Is that fetal assessment done with the 12-week scan, or was it done at 20 weeks? I don't know why I think it's done at 20 weeks.
I think it is 12. It was quite...
Is it at 12?
12
is it the same one?
12 or 15. It's like... I remember it's like close after the other, but it's not like a complete 4 weeks difference. I
Yeah,
don't
I think
know.
it's
I
the same
wasn't
one
part
where
of
you.
it.
Oh, shame. Yeah, of course. I think it's the same one where you get to know the gender. So like
Mm.
he did the whole thing. He's like, "Yo, no, everything's healthy. Everything's okay. Ticked all the boxes." And then he was like done. He was like waiting for us to like get up and leave.
Mm.
And we kind of just stared at him. And he's like, "Oh, you want to know the gender?" We're like, "Well, obviously." So he obviously told us. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, it's definitely a girl." Like he knew solid.
Yeah.
And up until then, I was convinced we were having a boy, and Andrew was convinced we were having a girl.
Yeah.
Um,
The mom
but for the
knows.
obvious, yeah, but also for the obvious reason that Andrew comes from a family of only girls, and I
Mm.
come from a family of only boys. So it's like all we know. We're like, well, if there's a
50-50.
baby in this family, it's a boy
Yeah.
in my case, and a girl in Andrew's case. And I mean, that's a whole other story to wrap your head around as a dad having a daughter, having it like, yeah, that's for another
I,
podcast. But
I, I, I hear they come with shotguns.
yeah, and licenses. It's a whole complicated thing just in terms of like, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that now, but obviously, as soon as you find out the gender,
Yeah.
you super excited, but at the same time, you trying to wrap your head around this concept of a girl that you don't know how to take care of. And but anyway, of course, we were elated, and that's pretty much. I think at that point we announced to friends and our Facebook network. We did that classic like shoes post with the dogs, and we've
I
got dogs.
I
That was the
remember.
last
Yeah.
time I think that they were treated as our children. Poor things.
Shame. Yeah. I remember everybody knew except me for some reason. Like I was either in Germany or somewhere,
I think
and
so.
and I came back and we were in a meeting and they said something about a baby. I'm like, who's having a baby? You're like, we are. I was like, cool.
Yo, I mean, I didn't even think of telling you at that time because you weren't even married at that point.
No.
So I was like, this dude's not gonna care. He doesn't care.
Meanwhile, I was crying inside. Like I'm not important enough.
You left me out of this. Um,
I wanna.
yeah.
Yeah. I want to
So I think
circle back to something before we get off the whole 12-week scan topic. I've got
okay.
a very quick, interesting story to tell. So,
Hmm.
we obviously did the one, was it the eight? Oh, I can't remember, but I went into one and then like a week later we went back for another one.
Hmm.
Oh, wait, it's 12 and 13 week, I think. So 12 week you do the gender or whatever, and then on 13 you do the whole measurement thing. I don't know. I know it was a week apart. Anyway, so we went back for the Down syndrome checks and stuff, and I got to the door and they're like, "Sorry, sir, you're not allowed in." I was like, I'm
Oh,
like, "Since when?" I was here like on Monday. They're like, "No, they changed it today." And I walked back to the car, super ticked off.
oh,
And
oh man.
don't ask why, but I've got clothes in my car. And Nadine phoned me and she's like, "Look, the people here don't even know about this. So they said like if you manage to sneak in, you can you can come in." So I was like, okay, cool. So I had a work jacket that I put over. I had sunglasses that I threw on. And my hair at that stage was quite long, so I had to like do this whole backhead flip type of thing.
Oh, you
Um,
should have done a man bun. I'd
well, I
never have
didn't have a
recognized you.
recce, man. And I walked, and I walked straight to the
He
woman.
means an elastic for non-Afrikaans
Yeah,
speaking.
yeah. And I didn't have a rubber. Fuck.
Too late for that.
uh, what do you call it, man?
It's an elastic. It's a
Is that
hair,
what
a
it's
pony,
called?
a hair elastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't have an elastic band. So, anyway, I walked straight to the woman. They told me that I can't come in. And I'm like,
Mm.
I'm here to see the doctor. And she looks at me. And she's
I'm here
like,
for my scan.
and she's like, which doctor? I'm like, room 17 or 470. I think it was room 470 or something like that.
Yeah.
And she looks at me. She's like, the gynecologist. I was like, yes. And I've never seen a woman as confused because in her mind, she just saw me, but she's also not sure because now I'm wearing other clothes. And this man with a beard is telling her he's going to the gynecologist.
Oh my goodness.
Long story short, I did get in, and I did get.
You did?
Yeah,
No
I did
ways.
get in. I did get in. But that was the last scan.
How do I not know about this story?
I don't know. I saved it for a podcast.
Oh my goodness.
This podcast is planned like a year in advance, prior to when I knew. But yeah, that was the last scan that I got to go to.
Okay.
Anyway.
And do you guys have any more scans planned?
Yeah, we've got one scan left.
Are you gonna be able to go?
All depends on how the people of Port Elizabeth behave.
That's true. Hey? We are declining at the moment.
Yeah, 368, I think.
So it's possible.
But yeah, so
nice.
Sorry for interrupting your part of the story. But yeah, continue.
No, I'm pretty. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
You've made it sound like it wasn't enough, but that was it.
Ta-da! Yay! No, I'm also looking at the time, and we're on 42 minutes 28 seconds. So timing was perfect. I felt like I spoke the majority of this episode.
Well, I think I did that last time. So, like I said, it's all about balance.
Yeah, I think we must do like a live stream where we do like a Q&A, a 5-hour live stream.
Oh my goodness, no.
Oh.
Nobody wants to hear us or see us for 5 hours. I assure you of that. But on that note, I want to encourage anybody listening to this, if you've got any questions or your own stories, go ahead and drop us a comment. I'd love to see it and feature it and talk about it in a future podcast.
Also, if you have your own blogs, if you've got your own channels, post it down below. We are not going to flag it. We are encouraging the knowledge.
100%.
That's
I mean, you can hear by our thingamajiggies and our very uncertain dates that we are no experts. So also more than open to hearing everyone else's opinion. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's one thing that I've noticed is like there's the different levels of dads in like South Africa, well, in the world, I guess. Like you get the ones that just don't care, and you get the ones that's like a little bit involved, and then you get the ones like us that's like super involved with everything. Like we want to go to every scan, we want to be at the delivery, we want to do as much as possible. Not that it's always possible, but we're quite involved.
Yeah, for sure.
But with that, Sean, I believe that you are going to be setting up some socials for us this week.
Yes, that is on my to-do list.
Yes, so what were you planning to place us?
So I think I'll start fairly simple. We'll do a Facebook page and just an Instagram account. We've already got a YouTube page, and then we'll start from next week. We'll put those links in the podcast too. Yeah. Just to, I suppose, to serve as well, just as updates for when we've got, when we launch our new podcast and what's coming up.
And what we're also going to do is we're going to do like 5-minute teasers, but it's going to be 5-minute teasers. So it's going to be 5 times 1 minute teasers on Facebook. Sean, you're looking so confused. So,
yeah, I forgot that we spoke about this.
Yes, we're going to.
I was trying to understand, why are you saying the same thing over?
I'm trying for it to make sense. So it's essentially going to be 5 1-minute, 5 1-minute like clips of the podcast with links to YouTube and or to the different podcast platforms. So if you want to check it out, feel free to check it out. Other than that, I think if you can give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Where's my thumb? A thumbs up if you can enjoy it.
There it is. You can see it.
If you did not enjoy it, just scroll past. Also, if you would want to see some more, you can hit us with a subscribe. Maybe put on the little bell icon for the notification. And like we've mentioned, comment, start the chat. Let's build a community. I'm very actively working on my own personal Discord to create like a little dad only section. Sean, you might have noticed when you logged in tonight for this chat that
Mm-hmm.
everything is organized for the first time since this Discord exists. So, working actively on it. Other than that, just to shut off, Sean does not know about this yet, but I've got a list of videos planned which is not podcast videos.
Oh, okay.
Things like pram fold up challenges and play.
It's not a challenge. It's not a challenge. It's what the manufacturer says it can do.
Exactly, but we're going to put
We're
it to
just
the
putting it to the
test.
test.
And yeah, maybe some dad it yourself quick recipes for the hard-working wife that wants to come home and you want to quickly surprise her with some nice
Good
chowder.
idea.
Yeah.
Chowder. Actual chowder, or do you mean chow?
What's chowder? Is chowder not food?
It is a food.
Oh,
Okay, it's a specific kind of dish,
well, we're
as
gonna make.
opposed to chow that just is food.
Nah, we're gonna make chowder. Got no idea
Sure,
what it is, but I'm gonna go Google.
go
Um,
for it.
but yeah, anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you very much for tuning in, Sean. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Janet. That was great.
So,
Thanks everyone for listening in.
yeah, sorry that we started so late. We had some technical difficulties. And I would just like to also finish now. The final thing is if there is some audio issues in this video, I'm going to try and fix it as much as possible. It's probably a point is saying it at the end.
Oh well, what can you do?
But yeah, we did have some connectivity issues. So
We are beginners, right? We're figuring this thing out as we go, so
we also have South African internet.
not
So
perfect. Yeah, well,
yeah.
that too. That
Okay.
too.
Then with that,
On that positive note,
cheers.
good night.